Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I, Surbhi Goyal, and legal intern at LexClick is going to give you a brief on the case on forgery and misappropriation of money. The case name is K versus V, Sri N. Rangraj, chairman, and Sri K. N. Rajeshkar and Sri P. V. Shetty, members. Judgment dated on 4th August 1987. First of all, let me tell you the facts of the case. Complainant's case, complainant had filed a suit for recovery of money from the defendant in that suit. He filed an application for attachment before judgment in respect of the defendant's money standing in the deposit at the post office. The application was allowed later on when the suit was decreed in favor of the complainant. The attachment was made absolute. The complainant engaged the respondent advocate for the purpose of withdrawing the money through the court. He signed the wakalatnama and paid the fees to the respondent. Even after a long time, the complainant was told by the respondent that the court had not yet received the money. Becoming suspicious, the complainant made inquiry in the court and found that the respondent had forged the signature of the complainant on all the legal papers and withdrawn the money, which he had been received by the court from the post office long back. The complainant issued two notices to the respondent upon calling upon him to pay the money. Though both the notices were received by the respondent, he did not care to reply them. Therefore, he had committed misconduct by forgery and misappropriation. According to respondent case, the respondent did not file any defense proceedings. The complainant passed away even before the date of the first hearing before the DC of the SBC. The legal representatives of the complainant were brought on record, and the son of the deceased complainant appeared with the power of attorney from the legal representatives. On the subsequent date of hearing, the legal representatives were not present before the DC of the SBC. But the counsel was present. He expressed that he had no knowledge about a memo received by the DC of the SBC to the effect that the legal representative had received the money from the respondent and they had compromised the matter. Therefore, they had prayed for dropping the proceedings in view of the allegation of forgery against the respondent, the DC of the SBC. Consider it necessary that the legal representative should be present at the time of the passing the order. On the next date, the son of the original complainant was present and his evidence was recorded and documents were marked. The documents clearly showed that the respondent had forged the signature of the complainant. The DC of the SBC got a confirmation from the handwriting expert also. Throughout the proceeding, the respondent was not present before the DC. The DC of the SBC, after elaborately considering the evidence on record, found the respondent guilty of professional misconduct and passed an order directing the removal of his name from the state roll. The respondent attacked the order of the DC of the SBC mainly on two technical grounds. First, the DC of the SBC ought to have acted on the compromise memo and ought to have dropped the proceedings. Second, he did not get proper opportunity to present his case before the disciplinary DC of the SBC. In answer of the first contention, the DC of the SBC ought to have to drop the proceedings against him as they were compromised. The DC of the BCI referred to section 35(1) of Advocates Act 1961, which reads, where on receipt of a complaint or otherwise a state bar council has reason to believe that any advocate on its roll has been guilty of professional or other misconduct, it shall refer the case for disposal to a disciplinary committee. And Rule 11(3) of Chapter 1 and Part 7 of the Rule of BCI, which reads, no disciplinary inquiry shall be dropped solely by reason of its having been withdrawn, settled, or otherwise compromised, or the complainant does not want to proceed with the inquiry, and held that DC of the SBC was not under any obligation to act upon the said complainant memo. The second contention that the respondent could not represent before the DC of the SBC because he believed that the proceeding would be dropped in the view of the compromise memo was not accepted by the DC of the SBCI as true and bona fide. The DC of the SBC had issued notices at every stage. It had issued him notice before sending documents to handwriting expert and also at this stage of recording the evidence of handwriting expert. Therefore, there was no reason for him to believe that the proceedings against him would be dropped. Therefore, the DC of the BCI found the respondent guilty of forgery and misappropriation of professional misconduct. The nature of the misconduct committed by him was very grave. Such a person is unfit to be in the legal profession. So the order was, therefore, DC of the BCI was pleased to uphold the sentence of DC of the SBC, removing the name of the respondent from the roll of the SBC. Thank you so much.